Hello and welcome to Paydirt TV. I'm Dominic Piper. Today I'm joined by Paul Bibby, Managing Director of Ecora Resources. Paul, thanks for joining us.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity at this exciting time for Ecora.
It is an exciting time for Ecora, Paul. You're listed this week on the ASX. Can you tell us a little bit about the IPO, how the process of it, how it went and how much you've raised?
Very good. Look, the IPO has been in process for the last 4 months. We're getting ready for it. And pleasingly, the iron ore price has been ramping up in parallel. The IPO has been designed to raise $5 million, which we've done. We've been well and truly oversubscribed, and we've had to scale back investors, which is wonderful interest in the project. We're listing with a share price of 25 cents. And trading will be, as you said, this week on the ASX, and it's an exciting time for us. The projects that we have are drill ready, and the funds that we are raising are all going towards the drilling program that we have planned to prove up the iron ore mineralisation at our main project, Becky Soper.
It's a great time to start to list an iron ore project with iron ore touching almost $150 a tonne at the moment. How did the company come about, and how did you put these three projects in Madagascar together?
Yeah, my colleague John Madden started the company, and initially with upgradable iron ore projects on the east coast of Madagascar. And the attraction there was the Tra Marina project, which is only 16 kilometres from the coast. We've drilled that. We've only put 7 holes in, but it confirms that there is 35 to 40% banded iron formation material at Tra Marina. Things are then tough for junior explorers like ourselves in the private space. And in 2014, John acquired the Becky Soper project in south-central Madagascar. That project has had historical work performed on it over a number of years. There's an extensive outcrop of high-grade material grading 66 to 67% iron, low impurities. And we've just been waiting for the opportunity for the markets and the interest to pick up. We raised some money privately last year, $2.5 million, which put us in a very strong position to prepare for a listing, but also to undertake some preliminary geological work and magnetic survey work.
Becky Soper does look like a quite enticing opportunity. As you mentioned, it's high grade and looks potentially direct shipping material. What's the plan once you've listed? Are you going to hit the ground running?
Very much so. Because we didn't have any debts, we have got no creditors to pay, and we raised some money last year. With the $5 million that we've raised, we are drill ready. We will be going in and doing an extensive drilling program in 2021 with the objective of proving up a resource. In preparation for that, and in parallel for all the work that we're doing on the IPO, we've actually conducted a preliminary drill program of some 10 holes, 1,000 metres, which has just been completed, and the drill core going back to the capital Antananarivo for preparation. So I haven't today got information on, numbers and grades and whatever else, but that drilling program was designed to confirm that not only was there an outcrop at surface, which we're aware of and everyone's been aware of, but that outcrop is extending below surface. So we're looking within the next weeks to release some news about how that drilling program's gone, which I think is going to be quite encouraging.
What's the ultimate goal at Becky Soper? Is it a scenario where you could potentially get into production or into resources quite quickly?
I think so, because there is no doubt that there's 10 to 20 million tonnes of high-grade material outcropping at surface along the 5-kilometre strike. That material is readily able to be, truck shovel, crush screen to produce a high-grade lump ore. If it's only 20 million, you could certainly do 2 million plus tonnes a year for 8 or 10 years and have a terrific project at today's prices. You'd have a very good margin. What we want to do is actually go beyond that and prove up 100 plus million tonnes of material. And depending on how the drilling goes, it could even be bigger than that. We just don't know what's below that outcrop. So over the next 12 to 15 months, it's really focusing on the drilling to understand the potential And then with that confirmation of that, is it 100, is it 200 million tonnes, what is the grade? We're then in a much better position to understand the way forward in terms of a project.
As well as Becky Sopper, you've also got a couple of other projects in the portfolio. Have you got any work planned for those assets?
Yes. The Tra Tra Marina project, which is, as I mentioned, 16 kilometres from the coast. You can actually see the ocean on the east coast from the top of the hill. That project, we've drilled 7 holes. We know that there's banded iron formation there, grading 35 to 40%. We're going to walk the ground and do a more extensive magnetic survey to understand better the geology so that we can then go back and do some infill drilling in the future years.
Paul, Madagascar has seen some big investments in the last couple of decades, and we've also seen fellow ASX company Base Resources invest quite heavily in the Toliara Sands project in the southwest of the country there. What have you found operating in a country like? Is it a good place for investment?
No, very much so. And I think we've come at a fortunate time because, Rio Tinto is there at the south with their very large project. You've got the Ambadvi project with the nickel cobalt, the laterites, and all the investment that's gone there. One of the good consequences is there's been a number of Malagasy people, Malagasy companies have started up, have got expertise. So when we were drilling back in 2013, we brought in drill rigs from outside the country to do that drilling. Today we've got a choice of 3 or 4 that are based in Madagascar, plus geological support services and laboratories. So we've come at a good time because of those that have gone before us building up expertise. Base Resources at Toliara, that's potentially the port for our Becky Soper project. And we're very fortunate to have Mike Sturzaker be our chairman of Ecora Resources. And Mike is also on the Base Resources project board. So he brings knowledge from another project that helps us, find our pathway in Madagascar.
You mentioned there, Paul, infrastructure and the potential for a port at Toliara. What is infrastructure like in the country? Obviously, it's always a big question when it comes to iron ore projects.
If it's a project of 2 million tonnes, trucking is there. We're 70 kilometres or so from the national highway which goes to Toliara, so trucking is doable. However, if we identify several hundreds of millions of tonnes of iron mineralisation, you'd look to do a railway or something else that would justify the expenditure, lower your costs, etc., and also a port. We haven't done that sort of logistics work because we really want to understand the magnitude of the opportunity. However, the trucking is practical. Pleasingly, it's downhill from Becky Soper, which is in the Midlands. It's at sort of 750 metres, above sea level, and downhill to the ocean. And there is port facilities at Toliara, which will need to be added to. So over the next year plus, as we get a better understanding, we'll also have put aside some money for those sorts of studies. So when I have another chance to talk to you, I'll be able to answer with a bit more clarity about what the logistics are and the practicalities of all of that.
Well, Paul, congratulations on the listing. It's a busy time of the year to get an IPO away on the ASX. And as you mentioned, hopefully we'll come back in a few months' time and we'll find out about the progress you've been having at Becky Soper. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you very much for the opportunity. And please, I'd love to come back once we've got the results from the initial phase of drilling and talk a bit about that and where we're heading with next year's drilling program. Thank you very much.